racetrack. This is the race for the lead and the win at Michigan.
And some wild moments.
One truck is in the air, Matt Crafton upside down.
And we'll let you hear the stories behind them.
He was too bullheaded to let me pass him, and I was too bullheaded to let him have it.
Download the show for free on iTunes and at mrn.com.
Here's a special message for those of you who owe the IRS at least $10,000 or more in back taxes. The IRS has special programs in place that could eliminate or reduce your tax debt by thousands of dollars. The IRS is currently accepting reduced settlements and other favorable programs. You may qualify for substantial savings, so get the help you need. Take down the number now for the Federal Tax Management Hotline, 800-242-1706, 800-242-1706.
From the Queen City, it's practice for the 2019 Monster Energy NASCAR All-Star Race.
Time now to transition into the 15 drivers and teams that are definitely in the All-Star race here at Charlotte Motor Speedway tomorrow night. These 15 teams get in the drivers with a win last year or to this point here in 2019, past All-Star race winners who compete full-time in the Cup Series currently, and also past Cup champions who compete full-time in the Cup Series currently. Those make up the 15 drivers who have the opportunity to go on the track and practice for the final time for 30 minutes before they begin pit road practice.
Glad to have you with us on the Motor Racing Network, MRN.com, NASCAR.com, and our home this weekend, the Charlotte Motor Speedway. We are now 1/3 of the way through the 2019 season. Hard to believe. Next week, the big one, the Coca-Cola 600. We're going to take that weekend off. And then we will come back, and Alex, you and I were talking about the fact that when we come back on the air after this weekend, it will be the month of June, and all of a sudden, you know, all of the spring races are behind us, and we are right at the beginning of summer and all the heat and the fun. You got Michigan, you got Watkins Glen, you got Bristol. We return to Daytona. It's hard to believe we're that far into the season already.
It really is amazing. Matter of fact, I saw Chip Weil, president of Daytona International Speedway, this morning. He's wandering around down here. Everybody comes out. This is our sports all-star weekend. As a matter of fact, we have one of our all-stars with boots on the ground down there in the garage right now. Speaking, of course, of the senior pit reporter for the Motor Racing Network and the executive director of the NASCAR Hall of Fame. That's Winston Kelly. Winston, good afternoon to you, sir. What's going on in the garage with these 15 teams?
Well, most of the drivers getting ready to crawl into their cars right now, just walking up and down and looking at this unique color of the Busch Beer Ford, a bit of a pink color here. So that one shouldn't be hard to pick out on the racetrack. Of course, same thing with the M&M's Toyota and our defending champion, Joey Logano. All these guys, Chase Elliott crawling in to his car. So they're getting ready to go out and see how the car feels. But as we've talked about so many times in the past, during very different conditions, it's going to be hot throughout the weekend, but it'll be a lot cooler tomorrow night than it is this afternoon. But what I'm really looking forward to is this pit road practice that they've got for qualifying. That should be fun.
Yeah, just make sure you get away from the pit wall at 160+ miles an hour. Off turn number 4, they come rocketing down pit road in order to try to get stopped in their pit box, and then the crew will go to work. All of that is coming your way later on tonight. Pole qualifying for the All-Star race. You can listen to it live right here on the Motor Racing Network. It is worth it. Make sure that you are dialed in. And by the way, that's 6 o'clock tonight, Eastern. And that will be our live coverage of that. Hannah Newhouse is down there. So let me see, Hannah, if Winston is the senior member of the broadcast team, would that make you a freshman?
I feel like I definitely would get the rookie stripes on the broadcast. But, hey, what a better person to be paired with than, like you said, the veteran of it all. So it's been fun down here learning. But actually, we had a couple cars just fire up and get ready. There's been a couple drivers that have been walking around here, in and out of them. You've got Kyle Larson that's actually hanging out over by his pit. But other than that, there's a lot of drivers. Jimmy Johnson actually, window net up, just pulled out of his garage stall. So we've got some cars getting ready to roll out, guys.
We are, and Kyle Busch is the first one to come out of the garage area. He'll take that M&M's Toyota towards the exit of pit road. Track is still under the red flag condition. They haven't opened it up for practice yet. Here comes Jimmy Johnson, the Ally Bank Chevrolet Camaro. Erik Jones in the Craftsman Tools Toyota. Another gold Richard Childress Racing Dow Chevrolet. This is Austin Dillon. This celebrating the 50th anniversary of RCR. Here's that purple, white, orange FedEx Toyota of Denny Hamlin. It's also coming out on the pit lane.
Well, at least you got the colors correct. That is, you don't do that very often, Alex. Usually your reds and oranges are usually mixed up. And yes, indeed, that FedEx Toyota is purple and orange. Normally you would call that red.
I absolutely would not, but
yeah,
that's
you would.
okay. And we don't need to bring Winston in on this color debate either, because he's on your team on that one. So we'll leave that debate alone. Just suffice to say I'm right.
They say dogs are colorblind. I don't know if there's a correlation or not.
Wow. I agree with you, though, Winston. All right, when you take a look down there, there's a number 22 Ford Mustang. What color is that, Alex?
That is yellow and red.
Very good.
Shell Pennzoil.
And what about the car right behind it? It's white and...
I would call that burgundy.
Fair enough. By the way, when we look down in the garage area, we do see that the white, blue, and red Ford Mustang of Brad Keselowski coming out of the garage. Let's go back and revisit what has been a bit of a struggle on board that discount tire Ford. It's been a long day. Hopefully they have the issues that plagued them earlier fixed.
Brad Keselowski was dead last in the opening practice today after running only 5 laps out there. The problem that they were dealing with was a power steering problem, was what Brad told us on the air. Winston Kelly, well, you've been hanging around down there at that red, black, and white discount tire Ford Mustang of Brad Keselowski. Crew Chief Paul Wolf, what's the latest?
Well, let's clarify that there's no question about the colors on that car, but we'll work with you on some of the others. But when I talked to one of the crew members just a little bit ago, and they did confirm that they came in a little bit early and been working on the power steering, and they said they think they found it, and he crossed his fingers and said, we hope so. Steve Post, right before he left the garage area, talked to Paul Wolf, and Paul told him we'd know about 5 minutes into the practice, so watching his scoring monitor is going to be very important for that discount tire Ford Mustang.
All right, thank you, Winston Kelly. Let's go back and revisit now. There are 24 open teams. If you're just joining us, those open teams are drivers that have yet to qualify for the All-Star event tomorrow night. They will have 4 opportunities in which to get into that race by winning Stage 1, Stage 2, or the completion of that event tomorrow night. If that doesn't work for the driver, we will fall back and somebody's going to get voted in. So that would bring us 4 additional drivers to the 15 that are already eligible, and those 15 drivers are?
Kurt Busch, Brad Keselowski, Austin Dillon, Kevin Harvick, Ryan Newman, Chase Elliott, Eric Almirola, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, Clint Boyer, Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr., Erik Jones, Joey Logano, and Jimmy Johnson.
All right, we talked a little bit about Open. We talked a little bit about All-Star. All-Star cars are on the racetrack right now. Things have wrapped up for the Open cars, but the work for the driver may be done, at least for now. The teams will go to work, but what about the drivers? Hannah, I know Bubba Wallace is down there. He is an Open driver. He will have to win his way or be voted into the All-Star.
Yeah, Bubba Wallace standing here with me hanging out. Saw you looking up underneath the car here. First off, what are your thoughts overall on how your car's handling today?
I thought we were okay after the first practice. Then let the track sit for half an hour, rubber gets laid down a little bit, and we're not very good for the second one. So we got some work to do on our Worldwide Tech Chevrolet. I was just under there looking at that crazy splitter pan, manta ray eel, whatever you want to call it, because it looks wicked. So just trying to figure out how we can make our car better. We're fighting a little bit of tight. The typical Charlotte in 3 and 4, you kind of lose the nose. Everybody's kind of complaining about that, but we're just trying to get it to hook up a little bit before that as well.
What's been the biggest difference that you've noticed with, these now hood ducts and also the splitter that's been implemented for this weekend?
Nothing. We're still tight.
Still tight. There you guys go. Bubba Wallace looking to make some improvements before trying to race in later this evening.
He mentioned that splitter. It's different. And to the naked eye, when the car is running 180 miles an hour, you're not going to be able to see it. It's tough to see it if the car's sitting still in the garage. You really, Jeff, have to look at it to really start seeing the nuances. But the majority of what's new with the splitter, you can't see it all because it's underneath the car.
Let's try to be as quick and painless as we can. Normally, the splitter that you've become accustomed to, you could take a straight edge, figure a yardstick, and lay it on the underneath side of a splitter, and you would not be able to see any light between the splitter and the straight edge. Not the case now. Right underneath, maybe from headlight to headlight, would you agree? We have taken the splitter and we have raised it about a half an inch. So from the right side working around to the front, and from the left side working around to the front, by the time you get to the headlight, you would come up roughly a half an inch, allowing air to get under the car and not sealing the car off when the car is at speed. Better downforce, and when we talked to some of the crew chiefs and NASCAR officials earlier this morning, they said they hope that little change will allow these cars to drive better.
That's the key. Get more drivability. Let these drivers get out there and run 2 and 3 wide without having to concern about losing the nose of the race car when the air gets taken off of it, meaning the front tires want to go up the banking and what we call tight out there, or in this case, aero tight, losing the air off the car there. So that's the key, and that's what NASCAR is trying to accomplish. Make no mistake about it. Don't be confused. This isn't something NASCAR decided they wanted to do on a whim. This is something NASCAR, in conjunction with the teams and the manufacturers, all got together and said, what can we do to make the racing the best possible product that we can put out there for all the race fans?
And what we have seen so far has been good. These cars will run in a draft. We are not seeing anybody working together really right now. A couple of cars down the back straightaway running together, but that's about it. In the open practice, we saw several cars working together in the draft, and what we saw we liked, and right now we're seeing a couple of cars in the draft. Jimmy Johnson, Erik Jones coming across the line, headed back to turn number 1.
They are, and they go back there. We'll see what lane they choose. Jimmy goes up the racetrack, as you see. Erik Jones, a little bobble at the bottom side of the track. Looked like he got the left side tires down on that white line, and that is paint. It doesn't mean it's necessarily completely flat with the rest of the asphalt. It may be raised just a fraction of an inch, but at 180 miles an hour, that can be significant out there.
And he'll give it up and say,
yeah,
okay, let's go ahead and tighten that car up just a little bit or whatever. And so Erik will come to pit road. Let's talk a minute about the All-Star event, Winston Kelly, and its importance overall to NASCAR, to the teams, to the drivers, and I think even more importantly than that, to the fans. And I'm talking about some of the fans that, well, make their home right here in the Charlotte area.
Yeah, it's kind of evolved over the years. It started out when it had the first year here in Charlotte, and then went 1 year to Atlanta and came back. And it's always, the word that I like to use is it's been evolving from when the lights were added here in that one hot night back in 1992, and to now to where it's sometimes used as a bit of a test session both for the teams and for NASCAR. It's a test session for the 600. It's always been important, whether it was for $200,000 that Darrell Waltrip won in 1985, and again in 1989 when Rusty Wallace earned the $200,000 and told our Jim Phillips, Darrell told our Jim Phillips that he hoped Rusty choked on that $200,000, to being worth $1 million now. But I think, these guys are going to race hard no matter how much they pay. So I don't think it's so much about the money, but it's about having a unique event. And the fact that we have an all-star race pretty much every weekend, but in this situation, it's kind of a no-holds-barred because you don't have to worry about, do I lose points? And just like the Daytona 500 creates so many memorable moments that we always look back on and say, wow, wasn't that something? We've had so many of those over the years, and I think we're in store. When you look at the format that we have, the new rules package that we have, I think we're in store for one of those memorable moments tomorrow night.
I think so too. Winston mentioned the format of tomorrow night's race. It'll be run in 3 stages, 20 laps, and then a 10-lap run to the finish. As you're watching this, there's great stuff going on with 3 drivers on the racetrack.
And that's Ryan Blaney that you're watching, Clint Boyer and Kyle Busch working off turn number 4, coming back to the line You got a couple of Fords and a Toyota running right together. By the way, how good is Team Penske right now? Well, on the scoring monitor, they show up Ryan Blaney, number 1, Logano, number 3, and we've talked a lot about Brad. Well, right now, Brad 3 seconds quicker than what he was earlier today. That's good news because he only ran 158 miles an hour, and now he is at least running 176. That's the good news. The bad news is Brad right now still only 11th quick of the 15 cars that have been on the racetrack and the 15 all-star drivers. We'll give you a complete rundown when we come back. From Charlotte Motor Speedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
2019 is the Motor Racing Network's 50th year, and things are about to get a lot louder. I'm Woody Kane. The NASCAR season is revving its engine, and MRN's 2 biggest loudspeakers are back when race spotter Joey Meyer and I bring you the latest news, results, and headlines every Monday on MRN Out Loud. Crank it up Mondays on MRN.com, iTunes, or wherever podcasts are heard.
Before you know it, we'll be crowning the 2019 Monster Energy NASCAR Cup champion in Miami. You need to be there to witness Ford Championship Weekend, November 15th through the 17th at Homestead Miami Speedway. 3 days, 3 races, 3 NASCAR champions.
What a year for Joey Logano, and he caps it off with a win at Homestead Miami Speedway.
Pick out the best seats in the house for the pinnacle race of the 2019 NASCAR season in South Florida. Call 866-409-7223. That's 866-409-RACE.
We're live from the Charlotte Motor Speedway with coverage of practice for the 2019 Monster Energy NASCAR All-Star Race.
And our coverage of that event, the All-Star event, will be at 5:30 Eastern tomorrow night. We'll go under the lights at some point. We're going to start in the bright daylight and the heat. It is expected to be close to 90 tomorrow when we drop the green flag, but then the sun will go down, the lights will come on, and we're going to be racing. And by the way, we got a lot of racing for you. Again, our airtime NASCAR Live pre-race show, 5:30 tomorrow night. Then we will go and we will run the Open. 20 laps, 10 laps. Drop the checkered flag, move 4 drivers on into the All-Star event. We told you how they advance. You win stage 1, stage 2, or the completion of the race, or you get voted in. That will add 4 more drivers to the All-Star. And then, Alex Hayden, we're going to go 30, 20, 20, and 15. And at the end of all of that, somebody's going to be a millionaire.
Yep, that's part of the fun. And no points on the line means you do whatever's necessary to win that $1 million and be the All-Star champion for 2019. It's a fun event. Not just that, but all the atmosphere that leads up to the green flag in the Monster Energy NASCAR All-Star Race. It's unlike anything we see all year long.
And Winston Kelly, let's just tease a little bit, because you know and I know that what we've got coming up here in a few minutes is about as exciting as you can get for a practice session. We're going to move everybody back away from the pit wall, and then we will start to practice what we're going to see tonight in pole qualifying, and that is remove the speed limit from pit road, and we'll be saying, here they come.
Yeah, we're going to kind of throw it back to how it was back in the day somewhere. I believe we discontinued this process around 1990, where guys just came flying down pit road, and that was when there could be, 30 cars coming down pit road all at one time. So it's always exciting. It's a whole lot safer in the way it is now, and that's how we need to do it under race conditions. But I love the fact that once a year they can come barrel off of turn number 4, come down pit road just as fast as they can, and then get into the pit stall, 4 tires, go back onto the racetrack. And one of the things that's always interesting is to see how long they stay in the throttle before they get on the brakes coming onto pit road, and can they get stopped. We're going to have guys slide through their pit stall, I should say. So the finesse is important as well, but speed is even more so. So you're going to be barreling off of turn number 4 at somewhere around 180 miles per hour. Then they've got to slow down to nothing in about a quarter of a mile.
It's got to be fun. It's got to be fun as a driver to kind of I guess you can say, break the rules a little bit, not have to worry about a pit road speeding penalty. You come down the pit lane as fast as you think you can get your car stopped.
Should we put the senior or the freshman down there in, say, pit box 16 and just let them get that bird's eye view of a Ford or Chevy or a Toyota coming at them at, like he said, 180 before you find third, second, first gear, locking up the brakes, tire smoke, sliding through the pit box. What do you think?
I don't know. I think either one of them are capable. I think it's a matter of, is the senior member more wise to not stand down there by the wall? That's what it comes down to. I can tell you, Hannah Newhouse is able to stand next to a Toyota in the garage earlier as he makes his way around the track. You see him there on your screen. That is the black and red Craftsman Toyota of Erik Jones. Currently, Hannah, 7th on the leaderboard.
Yeah, when Erik Jones was in here in the pits, one of the conversations we had earlier in the bus actually was how many times we've seen these drivers, they come in and without hesitation, they throw these cars up on jack stands and go to work on them. They've been throwing kitchen sinks at them to see what they can do to dial these race cars in and taking big swings, and that's one of the things that's kind of been happening over at the Erik Jones pit, but they feel a lot better about it now. They're now fine-tuning him. They had him up on jack stands and said it's just a matter of tweaking it right now. They're feeling that they're maybe a little bit free, and so they've been making smaller and smaller adjustments to get him where he feels the most comfortable. So they're past the point of throwing the kitchen sink at it. They're now at the point where they're feeling comfortable, and they're fine-tuning that number 20 Toyota Camry.
7th quick right now for Erik. He better get it done. Everybody better get it done here in a hurry because we are running out of time. We are inside 10 minutes remaining in actual race practice, and then we're going to divide the group up into two. Group 1 will go out first. Group 2 will follow them, and we will begin practice for the pit stops. In Group 1, you're going to have Logano, Kyle Busch, Truex, Brad Keselowski, Aric Almirola, Austin Dillon, Kevin Harvick, and Ryan Newman. And I got a question for you. You have seen almost all of the practice you're going to see, Alex. You've seen the new package. We've talked about it. What have we learned? Is there somebody who jumps out as a odds-on favorite right now based on what you've seen?
It's hard for me to say that this is a favorite because I think everybody's still learning, and they have the opportunity to continue adjusting on these race cars after they wrap up this practice session and pit road practice. But, Austin Dillon's jumped to the top of the leaderboard, but he's only run 9 laps in this 30-minute session. I like what we're seeing with some of these other teams that have run 20-plus laps. Ryan Blaney's put 25 laps out there, 25 from Almirola, 25 from Kurt Busch. They're the ones that are out there running longer and longer that have a better feel for what they've got in their race cars because they're going to have that feel.
And Winston Kelly, is the reason that we're seeing a Ryan Blaney doing 25, Aric Almirola doing 26, Kurt Busch doing 25 laps, those are long runs. The longest run we have tomorrow is segment 1 at 30 laps. Are we looking at maybe the teams trying to determine what the fall off is on those Goodyear tires, trying to already plan their strategy for tomorrow night?
Absolutely, because if we have a caution flag during some of those stages, they'll be able to change tires. I haven't double-checked the allotment of tires, but they'll be able to change tires and seeing if it's better to have track position if we have a caution flag, say, during that first stage or first segment, this 30 laps, or is it better to come down and take tires? So that's one of the things that they're trying to determine exactly what that fall off is. No question about that.
That's a great point, Winston, that you make there, that you have to be able to have the ability to change the car around, the new tires on it, whatever the case may be. There's a lot of smart people down there with wrenches in their back pockets that are working on these race cars and laptop computers sitting on top of the Whir wagon as well.
All that and then add an emoji to a race car.
Yeah.
Is there one that comes to mind that would have something like that? You think of the high-tech world of NASCAR coming together with, the 4-car, and by the way, I do want you to tell me what color that car is. What color is that car?
That is baby pink.
you know what?
I watched a lot of Bob Ross when I was a kid. It's not just pink.
No, I think you're right.
Maybe a soft pink, a pastel pink.
I was going to say, I was waiting to use that word, pastel, pink. Here it comes. Off 4, although you are looking at the red and yellow and blue Toyota Camry of Kyle Busch. We are talking about the driver who's actually just in front of that M&M's Toyota Camry, and that pastel pink number 4, Kevin Harvick. You know, when I think of Harvick, I think of, you know, he's not the Iron Man. That's Ricky Rudd. But if there was a modern-day Iron Man, it might be Kevin Harvick. He and pink don't mix. Why the color change?
Well, you know, it's part of the Busch Beer campaign that they're running out there. And on a side note, I think it's kind of funny that Winston, we've called him the senior member, and it's fair.
Right.
I'm going to call you a senior member too, because you're, you know, you've got a few more years on some of us. I think it's funny that you two guys as seniors use emojis and even know what an emoji is.
Yeah,
So,
we do.
Yeah.
You're about to get one. Check your phone.
Both you and Winston do that. But, you know, when you talk about this car, and we'll bring Hannah Newhouse in because she's the freshman member of our crew here on the Motor Racing Network. Hannah, when you see this paint scheme and all that's on it, what comes to your mind?
Definitely a little bit of confusion. Actually, I am 1 year past the millennial post, so I am 1997, so I'm not quite a millennial. But there was definitely confusion, and I love that Twitter just took to the world with this, and they all ran with it. And there was a lot of people that were like, why is there avocados on this car? Why are there emojis? What does yeet mean? I didn't know what yeet meant. We had to look that up, and actually we got a couple different interesting definitions on that, and one of the favorite ones that I got was that's how you ask someone if they've had dinner yet in Texas. Apparently it's yeet yet. And so it's been really fun to see that car. A lot of people, great feedback by Busch Beer, obviously, on social media with that. Interesting to see. Never thought I would see Kevin Harvick, though, in a car with all of these emojis and avocados and slang sayings. I've had to Google some of them myself, so apparently I'm not up with the rest of my generation. But, yeah, great campaign for them, and they've definitely seen a lot of success and feedback from it as well.
Can you describe that car?
It's got a participation trophy on it, too. It's really funny, actually.
And by the way, you are a millennial, just so you know, Hannah. You claim you're not, but to us,
you are.
You are, and you always will be. Because you're always going to be like 35 years younger than I am, and, well, 34 years younger than Alex Hayden.
Whoa,
all right.
whoa.
So on the racetrack right now, you see Kyle Busch diving down to the inside of a lime green car. That is the Ryan Newman, number 6 Ford. Here they come working back to the start-finish line. Alex, every time we see cars together on the racetrack, we like what we see. You made a comment much earlier today off air when you said nobody is really able to just get away and drive away from the field, and we're seeing that time and time again.
Yeah, every time there's been whether it's a 2-car draft or a 10-car draft like we saw earlier, nobody drove away from each other. I thought it was pretty spectacular. I really did. A lot of fun to watch what we've been seeing here as the red and black flags go in the air. That signifies the end of final practice for the all-star cars. These 15 drivers had the opportunity to get this final 30 minutes in. We're going to clear the pit wall and get all those fans and crew members and security away. It's going to take a minute or two to do that, and then we're going to put the track back under green flag conditions for 2 groups of all-stars to go out and practice pit road. Yeah, they do it every week. I have Jeff Striegel explain what's going to happen when we come back. Austin Dillon led the way here in final practice with a speed of 179.450 miles per hour. From Charlotte Motor Speedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Here's your chance to win a set of your very own Hercules tires. Go to HerculesTires.com/MRN. Simply register, and each month we'll give away 1 set of tires. Hercules Tires has the value, selection, and industry-leading mileage coverage to get you wherever you need to go, no matter where the road takes you. Register now for your chance to win a set of Hercules tires at HerculesTires.com/MRN. Hercules Tires. Ride on our street.
Clutch Coffee Bar in Mooresville, North Carolina is redefining the drive-thru coffee game in Race City, USA. The Clutch experience is fast, friendly, and delicious. Quality drinks and unmatched customer service is the name of the game. Clutch Coffee Bar offers signature lattes and mochas, custom flavor-infused energy drinks, smoothies, and more. Over 25 flavors, there's something for everyone. Visit our 2 locations in Mooresville, 356 Williamson Road and 154 West Plaza Drive. Open daily from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. Power up today with Clutch Coffee Bar.
From the Queen City, it's practice for the 2019 Monster Energy NASCAR All-Star Race.
Back at Charlotte Motor Speedway, final practice has concluded. Austin Dillon the fastest. Top 5 were Ryan Blaney, Clint Boyer, Joey Logano, and Denny Hamlin. Track security clearing the backside of pit wall right now as we get set for pit practice. Let's go back to the garage area in Hannah Newhouse.
Erik Jones, I was down here watching your crew fine-tune on your car. How are you feeling overall with the last All-Star practice finish?
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of tough to tell. We're keeping up with the track a little bit at this point. It's getting so hot, and you're rerunning on tires. It's a short practice, but we made some good gains. The balance is different with this splitter, so we're trying to keep up with that. But you know, the Craftsman Camry's got good speed again, so we'll make some adjustments, and hopefully the cooler track will give us some grip tomorrow night, and we'll get through this qualifying this afternoon and see where we end up.
What's the biggest thing that you've noticed with the addition of this different splitter?
Well, I think it's just a big forward arrow shift, and it's made for us, it's made us a lot freer. So we've been working kind of all day to tighten it up and get it driving good on the long runs. We've been good on some of the short runs, but we get freer as we go. So just trying to keep up with it and see where it all goes. But it's a short amount of time to try to figure out something new, so we're doing the best we can.
Erik Jones, another one of those drivers trying to figure out some of these new packages here that's been implemented at the All-Star race.
He will turn 23 in 1 week, May 30. Does that make him a millennial or not? I don't even know.
It is to me, yeah.
Close enough.
Yeah.
The driver out of Byron, Michigan. All right, you just heard the top 5. Alex gave them to you. A real quick look at the rest of the 15. Harvick, 6th quick. Erik, you just heard from him, 7th quick. Erik Almirola, 8th quick. Ryan Newman, 9th, and Kyle Busch, 10th quick. Then you get back to Jimmy Johnson, Martin Truex Jr., Brad Keselowski, Kurt Busch, and Chase Elliott. Chase 15th of the 15 cars that were out there. Back downstairs to Hannah.
Ryan Blaney here showed speed in that final practice here for all the All-Star drivers. How is the confidence in your car?
Yeah, you know, I think we've been pretty decent all day. We kind of messed around with some stuff, you know, with these this new under package and splitter we got, and then, you know, the air vents going out of the hood. You just kind of play with, you know, everything, kind of see where your car feels best at. So I thought we ended pretty good. We did a long run there. Just that whole last practice, since it was only 20 minutes, I was really happy with it. So you never know how these races are going to play out. The All-Star deal, it's a really fun race, but it can go bad in a hurry. But I'm excited to do our practice qualifying coming to pit road next. That's always really fun to me. That's cool tonight. We'll do that. But yeah, I thought our body armor for Mustang was pretty decent. We'll see where it goes.
Ryan Blaney there. I'm looking forward to this qualifying as well. I've never seen this in person, and I've heard nothing but exciting things about watching these cars come down pit road at full speed. So, Winston, if you want, I might even head over there and call that one for you, just to take that off your hands.
Well, Hannah, we'll get Winston here in just a second. You know, Hannah, I recommend it. Go out there and get as close as they're going to let you just to watch this take place. Winston's been coming here a long time. So, Winston, you've had the opportunity to see this happen a lot.
Yeah, got to see it in both this format that we've done for the past, as I recall, somewhere about last 6-8 years since we've been doing it this way. And then when I first came around this sport back 100 years ago, we came down pit road literally until around 1990. Pit stops were made. You came down pit road. You just barreled down just as fast as you could. And it didn't matter, even under caution flag, you might have 20, 30 cars come barreling down pit road at full speed ahead and try to slide their way into the pit stall. So, but definitely understand why safety has got to be paramount, and we've got to have a pit road speed. But doing it individually, this is going to be very exciting. And like I said earlier, I just can't wait to see them barrel off of turn number 4 and see there's going to be 1 or 2 guys at least that slide through their pit stall, and they're going to have to back up, and they're going to have to throw the time out the window, but they're going to throw caution to the wind, and we're going to see some of that here in just a couple of minutes, or at least the practice for that in a couple of minutes.
Group 1, Logano, Kyle Busch, Truex, Erik Almirola, Austin Dillon, Kevin Harvick, Ryan Newman, and Brad Keselowski. Winston Kelly, you've been watching everything going on in that 2-car garage. What's the very latest on Brad?
Yeah, just stuck my head in the garage area, and Paul Wolf was kind enough to step over for a second. I said, you find what you wanted and you like what you have? And he gave me a thumbs up. He said, we're in good shape now. It was a power steering box situation, so they got that corrected, and they're going to be good to go. And going back to this conversation on Kevin Harvick's Millennial car, talked to one of the crew members. I said, okay, give me the backstory on this. Why is he doing that? And they said that Busch Beer was so confident that Kevin Harvick was going to win the championship in 2018 that they made a bet or made a promise if he didn't win the championship, they would run some type of Millennial car this year. And so that's exactly what they're doing. The only thing on the side that I understood, there is a trophy, and it says, congrats, you tried. Millennial's known for getting participation trophies. But I would also point out, there's another driver that once drove a pink car. He would be one 7-time champion, Dale Earnhardt.
Yeah, indeed. And here comes that pink car coming out of the garage, getting ready to do a little practice here, pit stop style. Baby pink, lime green. I agree. I think that's all it needs to be said.
You can't make it up.
No, you can't. We're back with more in a moment. Don't go anywhere. It's about to get exciting around this place as we put them out one at a time, and pit stop practice will begin next from Charlotte Motor Speedway. This is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Since 1942, Freightliner has been an industry innovator, developing trucks renowned for their dependability and efficiency. Whether your job requires a dump truck, a concrete mixer, or a delivery truck, you can count on Freightliner to maximize your productivity. With a wide range of horsepower and torque rating that meet even the most demanding job conditions, Freightliner trucks are built to build your business. Learn more at Freightliner.com. Freightliner, work smart.
Hi folks, Mike Bagley here. At MRN, we rely on equipment from Racing Electronics.
Joey Logano to the lead on the back straightaway.
Racing Electronics has scanners and headphones. We can listen to every uncensored conversation between driver and crew.
You won the championship, baby, yeah!
And when we need live audio, in-car cameras, and up-to-the-second statistics, we use their latest handheld unit called Legend. To learn more about these products and many others, visit RacingElectronics.com. Racing Electronics, the official two-way communication partner of MRN.
Live from the Charlotte Motor Speedway with coverage of practice for the 2019 Monster Energy NASCAR All-Star Race.
Don't forget pole qualifying coming up. Live coverage on the Motor Racing Network beginning tonight at 6 Eastern. What can we expect when they do that? We're about to find out as we get ready to practice pole qualifying for tonight. The drivers in Group 1 have assembled on pit road. Aric Almirola, Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Austin Dillon, Truex, Logano, Brad and Ryan Newman. And now the green flag is out, and one by one they begin to come off of pit road. Let's talk about pole qualifying and what we think we're going to see here tonight at 6 o'clock. Basically, Alex Hayden, in a nutshell, 3 laps, best combined speed over the 3 laps will be the pole winner.
That includes coming to pit road and making a pit stop. There can't be any lug nuts left off of there. That's going to be a penalty, and that can move you down the order as well. But you're right. It's interesting how qualifying takes place for the All-Star race, but it is so much fun. So the drivers here, 8 of them of this All-Star group of 15, group number 1, they're 8 strong, are on the racetrack. Aric Almirola, he is the first one at speed exiting turn number 2. Some 25 or 30 car lengths behind him is Kevin Harvick, and we'll see if they elect to peel off the track this time and come down pit road. Ryan Newman's doing that just now.
And Winston Kelly is standing right there in pit stall number 15. Newman's going to hit pit stall number 16. It's about to get busy down there, Winston Kelly. Here comes Kevin Harvick.
Yeah, and he comes down pit road. He's going to come to this pit stall. His signboard is out. Ryan Newman came through. He didn't come quite to a complete stop. Kevin Harvick is going to come to a stop. they're being a little bit more conservative on this first time down pit road. Here comes another car. It's going to be Martin Truex Jr. carrying the red, white, and blue Tracker Boats colors. So they're coming hard off of pit road, but they are getting on the binders pretty quickly and slowing down. Here comes Erik Jones. He's going to come down pit road. His pit board is out, and he's already slowed down. They're not going to lock the tires up because they don't want to be able to flat spot those tires. Ryan Newman now comes down, and he kind of swings around Erik Jones. Here comes the 50th anniversary paint scheme for Austin Dillon. Won the Coke 600 a couple of years ago. He comes to a stop. Here comes Brad Keselowski. We said we talked to Paul Wolf. Their car's pretty good. Brad went through his pit stall, so they're getting the practice in that they need to be able to get these cars off of the racetrack as quick as they can down pit road with no speed limit, and then be able to come to a stop here just beyond the start-finish line.
If Joey Logano gets his car stopped right now, he earns a trophy, not a participant. And he did it, and he got it stopped in the box. He came in guns a-blazing. But, Jeff, it's interesting because it's wide open practice right now. So everybody's trying to get to the same pit box, the one they're going to use when they actually do it. They're about to wreck right here because everybody's trying to stop in the same box.
This is better than actual pole qualifying because when we pole qualify, we only have one car on the track at a time. To Alex's point right there, we had Harvick, Kyle Busch, and Truex coming down pit road at 160, maybe even a tick or two higher. They're all trying to get into pit stall box number 16, and when one car is there, well, Winston Kelly, another car comes rocketing down pit road. They want to occupy the same space. We've almost wadded up a car, too, and here we go again coming your way.
Yeah, Erik Jones just gets away. Austin Dillon. Here comes Ryan Newman. If he slides through, he's going to get in the back of his former teammate, Austin Dillon, but that's not going to happen. But we did have almost three wide. Kyle Busch on the outside. On the inside, we had Martin Truex Jr., and then here comes Kevin Harvick up on them, gets in behind them. Right now, we have nobody on pit road, but the pit board is out. Here comes Joey Logano, the Shell Pennzoil Ford. I don't think he's going to make it. Nah, he gave up. That would be what you call kind of a flyby. He didn't even try to stop. He was going so fast down pit road. If anybody's going to be on it on pit road, it looks like it's going to be Joey Logano. Can he get it stopped? That'll be what we'll find out here in a few hours. Here comes Kevin Harvick, a whole lot more conservative this time. Car kind of bogs down. He's got to refire it. Martin Truex Jr. opting to come out. And I haven't been keeping up with the exact number of stops, but Ryan Newman has come down pit road more than anybody, so he's trying to get that practice in, but he hasn't been as quick on pit road as some of the other guys.
Well, some of these drivers, when they do stop in pit box number 16, it's like they're waiting on somebody to hand them a glass of water or something. They've got to pop the clutch and get going as Almirola blows through the box. No chance of stopping that.
Yeah, that one wasn't even close.
You got to have the brake bias set just right, too, with the back brakes to the front brakes.
And if you're wondering where Kyle Busch is, he said enough already. He took that M&M's Toyota Camry right straight to the garage. Here comes Ryan Newman. In the box right now is Austin Dillon. Here they come, Winston.
Austin Dillon pulls away. Here comes Ryan Newman. A more conservative approach as he comes down pit road, make sure he gets everything in the box. And Joey Logano is going to take the hard left-hand turn. I guess he also saying, I've had enough of this. I'm ready to go. His adrenaline's pumping, but he wants to make sure that he takes a complete Shell Pennzoil Ford back to Todd Gordon and the crew. Here comes Kevin Harvick again. That hashtag millennial car, not even close. He said, I'm not even going to try that. So he just waves at his crew member, goes on by. Erik Jones coming down a whole lot slower than he has in the past. So this has been fun to watch. I cannot wait to qualify.
No, I can't either. But again, this is all part of qualifying for the All-Star race for these 15 teams. They have to come down, change 4 tires, and go back out. If they miss their pit box or blow through it like Winston's been describing, that kills their time as far as getting their starting spot for the All-Star race. So it's very important for the crew members as well. They have got to change all the tires. And the cool thing about this too, Jeff, is this is an opportunity to highlight these over-the-wall pit crew members because that is a dangerous job that a lot of people seem to take for granted.
Well, obviously they are not allowed to come over the wall until the car has come to a complete stop. Austin Dillon has just blown through pit stall box number 16.
He did not come to a complete stop.
No, he did not. And he will not collect $200 either. He will have to go all the way around again. Eric Almirola, here he comes. Alex Hayden off 4, rocketing down pit road.
At 20 miles an hour, and he's, that's enough. He's going to turn in as well and go back to the garage area. So it looks like the 8 cars in group number 1 are all but finished because there's only 1 car left.
And they got no tires left on them.
No, they don't. As Austin Dillon is creeping down the backstretch, I think he's completed his efforts as well.
I think they have burned those Goodyear tires up. You know, the thing that you want to keep in mind, and we really didn't call that out a lot, we are trying to get stopped in pit stall number 16. A lot of times, or certainly a few times anyway, Alex, we would see tire smoke off those Goodyear Racing Eagles back around pit stall number 20, and then it's a full-blown 4 pit stall slide trying to get the car slowed down and in the pit box, and here comes Brad back out. Apparently he wants to make one more attempt at it, maybe with a brand new set of tires.
Well, and a clean racetrack. Everybody else is going to the garage, so he's going to have the opportunity for the moment to go out there and do it by himself and see if he can get it stopped. Now, group number 1 here are using pit box number 16. That's the one they're going to have to use when it's time to qualify a little bit later today. By the way, you can hear Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series All-Star Pole qualifying live here on the Motor Racing Network beginning at 6 o'clock Eastern Time this evening. Brad Keselowski coming up to speed. Jeff, who do you think, and we'll get Winston's opinion too, but who do you think did it the best here in group number 1?
I think it's the same guy that did it the best also did it the worst, and I'm going to go with Logano. If he appeared to be the fastest car to come down pit road. He got it stopped a couple of times. He blew it a couple of times. If you can figure out how to just back it down a little bit, I think my money's going to be with Logano. Now, here comes his teammate.
Brad Keselowski, Winston is coming at you full speed.
Yes, he is. I've got odds he's not going to make it this time, but I would be wrong there.
Nope.
He was able to come to a stop, and that one was both quick and smooth and was able to bring it to a stop. But I agree with what Jeff said, that if Joey Logano is able to get it in the box, he's the one that's most likely to nail this. Ryan Newman appeared to be the most conservative, still coming pretty quick off of pit road, but he got on the binders a little bit quicker, never overshot the pits there. Everybody else at least overshot at one time. Logano a couple of times. Once he didn't even try because he was coming so hard. But, you got to push the envelope to know exactly where that breaking point is. So I would say if Logano can nail the stop, but you also got to factor in, that's just a part of this thing. You've got to be quick on the racetrack and have a good handle all the way around for the entire 3 laps that they're going to be out there here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway. So this is going to be fun.
Brad, just a moment ago, down pit road, you heard Winston Kelly call the stop, but Alex Hayden, NASCAR, with a penalty.
Yeah, because even though he got the car stopped, just like a regular race pit stop, you have to be completely in the box. The nose of the car was over the line. So, yeah, he got the car stopped, but that would have been a penalty unless he put it in reverse and backed up. And Brad now making sure he knows exactly where pit stall number 16 is.
And now he'll pull away. He came down pit road that time at maybe 45 miles an hour, almost as though to say, okay, I can do this without making a mistake, and now he pulls away. Group 1 done. Coming up, Group 2.
Including Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, Jimmy Johnson, Clint Boyer, Erik Jones, Denny Hamlin, and Kurt Busch. From Charlotte Motor Speedway, this is the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
When the racing concludes each weekend, keep up with the nonstop NASCAR news each weekday on NASCAR Today Midday.
The drafting type races I've always excelled in, so that's where I see a tremendous advantage.
I think it was very important for us to get Martin and to get Cole, both of those as a group, because they're very good at what they do.
NASCAR Today Midday, Monday through Friday on the Motor Racing Network, the voice of NASCAR.
Looking towards the weekend? Aren't Thursdays a drag? Ours too. Get your weekly dose of nitro-fueled NHRA talk every Thursday on The Straight Line, presented by O'Reilly Auto Parts. This is Ralph Shaheen. Join Doug Herbert and myself as we talk with the biggest names, both past and present, to ever stomp down on the loud pedal. Top Fuel, Funny Car, Pro Stock, motorcycles, you name it, we talk about it. Don't miss The Straight Line, Thursdays on MRN.com, iTunes, or wherever your favorite podcasts are heard.
From the Queen City, it's practice for the 2019 Monster Energy NASCAR All-Star Race.
Back at Charlotte Motor Speedway as group number 2 now begins to file out of the garage. 7 cars in this group, including Jimmy Johnson, who's at the exit of pit road, just patiently awaiting the green flag to go in the air. Now, this group will practice using box number 18. Group 1, as the green flag goes in the air, used box 16. When it's time to qualify these 15 drivers later on, you have to alternate. You go group 1 in box 16, the next car is a group 2 car in box 18. That way you can make sure each team has the opportunity to set up their pit boxes.
And right now, by the way, the unofficial track record of entry on pit road, 162 miles an hour. Kevin Harvick, Clint Boyer, and Ryan Newman have done that in the past. 162 off the banking and onto pit road. Winston Kelly has taken his spot behind a concrete barrier about 45 yards away from pit road. Good job out there, Winston. Don't want to get too close to the action. Here comes Clint Boyer. Everybody getting ready to go. Going to be fun. Winston Kelly, I kid, but this is awful fun to watch.
Absolutely. I tell you, it still blows my mind that we used to do this with 30 cars coming down pit road under a caution flag situation, and they were able to get in the pit stall. And I think that's one of the reasons this practice is so important. There's not anybody racing today that ever did this, and we haven't had anybody for a long time that has raced, that has come down pit road like this. So getting that practice in is going to be awful fun to see. And I know Hannah Newhouse has gone out there onto pit road, and we'll get to see this as you guys so aptly suggested, not just being the freshman member. We've got Beauty and the Beast down here, and Beauty's on pit road now.
That would be Hannah Newhouse. Hannah, what are you thinking right now? They haven't really come barreling down just yet.
Yeah, well, I just saw Clint Boyer execute a really good pit stop so far, and he's about the only one that's made it down pit road thus far and been able to get into the pits without locking the tires up, sliding the car out of the box. Jimmy Johnson came down at one point and completely just gave up, said, nope, I am not going to get down to speed. We also saw Denny Hamlin come down pretty early on, and he made it within the realm of his pit stall, but about slid right through it. And it looks like we've got Kurt Busch, who's being waved in here. Kurt, and another one that locks him up, but he gets stopped in there too. This is really cool. I've watched this on TV, but the opportunity to be down here in pit road and watch these guys and the teams that, will randomly get the call, hey, our driver's coming down pit road, and get that pit sign over the wall is really cool.
A very conservative Erik Jones to be followed by a wide open Jimmy Johnson, who missed it by a lot last time. Will nail it this time. Right behind him comes Denny Hamlin, and here's a thought. I know he's not going to like this. Wait a minute, here comes Chase Elliott, and he looked like he was flying, but he too will get it stopped. Here's the good news for Denny Hamlin. During pole qualifying, he cannot be busted for speeding.
That's true. He's got a habit. He's a repeat offender.
He's got a ticket or two.
He's a repeat offender in pit road speeding.
Indeed.
So he can just have all the fun in the world here. I think one of the bravest people on All-Star pit road qualifying are the guys who have to hold those big signboards out and try to stop a race car right there.
True.
Because some of these cars are blowing through and knocking these signs, not out of the hands of these crew members, but it's certainly given it a pretty good jolt. Here's Kurt Busch. He is flying down pit road again. Hannah, he's coming at you.
And like you said, flying, attempted to lock him up there for a second, had some smoke fly out of the rear end of that race car, and just said, nope, not happening, guys, and kept rolling. But you'd mentioned those pit signs. Actually, Chase Elliott's guy had his over the wall at one point, and when Chase was taken off, he made a little contact with that pit sign, but that crew member held on to it. But no, this is just definitely entertaining. It's been super cool to see. Like you said, Jimmy Johnson, his guy, puts that sign over the wall, and Jimmy Johnson to come in, makes a really good job there not to lock those tires up. You don't want to flat spot those tires like Winston had said, but a good old burnout getting out of that pit stall.
So you have close, or you actually have very close, close and not even close. Denny Hamlin, that was close, but not really though. Right now I think that I would give, as a group, I think Group 1 was far more aggressive than group number 2. If you took Jimmy Johnson out of the equation, we're seeing a lot of conservative runs. Jimmy's been wide open. What about his teammate? Here he comes, Chase Elliott, off 4 and headed your way, Winston Kelly.
Winston Kelly actually still down in the garage, but Chase Elliott, like you said, comes to that pit stop here. He makes it, stops, gets fully stopped without locking those tires. That burns out, and right behind him was Kurt Busch. Did not waste any time getting into that pit stall. Came at a weird angle. Wasn't sure if Chase was going to make it out there, but Kurt Busch has been laying down some great burnouts getting out of the pit stall here in this pit practice. We got a line of fans down here hanging out with us all along the railing here, keeping everyone a safe distance, but everyone has gathered around down here to watch this.
And Hannah, you bring a good point. We're talking about the incredible speeds coming on the pit road, trying to slow the car down to get to the pit box. It's fair game, too. Once the service is complete, pop the clutch. You go as fast as you can off pit road as well. Here's Denny Hamlin coming back down. This is, I would call conservative, just to make sure he knows exactly the braking points. We saw Erik Jones and Ryan Blaney come back out of the garage. They are coming up to speed, and they're going to try it again here, it looks like. Another opportunity or two. Chase Elliott's on the racetrack at speed as well.
And so, again, when we do this for pole qualifying, what we'll have is a warm-up lap. They will come and take the green flag. They will complete one lap. Normally, they can do it however they want. They'll complete one lap, then they'll come to pit road, then they'll come back out, complete that lap. Here comes a Chase Elliott, Hannah, and man, he looks like he's out of control.
Yeah, he had some speed wobbles coming down pit road, and it's not often that you get to say a driver gets speed wobbles coming down pit road, but you have to also wonder, you know, these drivers when they do these green flag pit stops and have to adhere to the pit road speeds that have been laid to them, you know, during a normal race, they do have to go down through the gearbox. Well, at this, you're carrying such a high speed, you get to carry that speed down pit road, and then you're forced to downshift much quicker at a higher speed, getting into these pit box, and then getting out of the pit box again. So it's got to be really hard, and these drivers have got to find that happy point to finesse getting back through those gearboxes and off pit road, but a well-executed pit stop there as well for Erik Jones.
I just had a flashback, and it wasn't a good one. The term speed wobble. Me on a skateboard as a kid, going down a hill and get a speed wobble, it was never a good outcome.
Well, that's why you wear your knee pads and your elbow pads.
Well, I wasn't a millennial. I didn't have to do that stuff. I have scars for good stories.
I feel attacked, Alex.
Here comes Denny Hamlin once again in that FedEx Toyota Camry. A conservative pass this time for Denny. He will be looking for pit stall 18. He nails it. Erik Jones, his teammate, coming across the start-finish line. You get a little onboard look inside that car going off into turn number 1. Clint Boyer has come back out of the garage. Winston Kelly, a couple of these teams electing to wait for things to calm down on the racetrack. Clint Boyer says, you know what, I'll give it another go.
He will indeed. Clint Boyer pulls out on the racetrack. He's going to come up to speed. We've got Denny Hamlin out on the racetrack, and here's Erik Jones. Hannah, coming your way.
Yeah, coming down here, like you said, these teams are finally making that effort to come out. Erik Jones, one we haven't seen do too many pit stops in comparison to Hamlin, but he got that car slowed down well before the pit stall, got the car to a complete stop and came out. It's been interesting to see the different strategies. Like you said, you've got Denny Hamlin who locks him up a couple pit stalls beforehand and can't quite make it in. Clint Boyer carrying some serious speed. Manages to make it stuck. He doesn't spin the tires, doesn't lock him up, gets stopped and gets out there as well. Clint, someone who will probably see pass through a couple more times, making a late entry into this practice session.
So you've got nailed it, very close, close and not even close, and Clint Boyer just nailed it. Perfect stop for Clint. By the way, if you make a mistake in pole qualifying, NASCAR will penalize you 5 seconds for every mistake. So, you know, there is a point of give and take. You can make it look good, Alex, by rocketing off turn number 4 and down pit road as fast as you can go, trying to shave off, you know, maybe a half a second. Well, the bad news is if you make one slight mistake, you're going to get penalized for 5 seconds. So there's got to be a balance between conservative and making sure that you do it right and just coming down pit road wide open.
And then there's the pit crew themselves. The true tire changers have to be able to get the tires changed, get all the lug nuts on, so they don't get penalties there as well. Back to the garage and Winston Kelly.
Yeah, with Jimmy Johnson, who's won, I don't know how I lost count of how many times here. First off, how'd you like your car?
Charlotte is being Charlotte. It is not an easy track to get a hold of during the daytime and these hot, slick conditions. We definitely need to handle better, which is nice to see. With this package, we've been easy flat at a lot of places, so handling's definitely a premium. Pit stop practice right there was a lot of fun. That is one way to get your blood pumping, in a race car.
I wanted to ask you about that. That's something that's so different in this era. So do you look forward to that kind of situation?
I do, and I am so thankful there are no other pit crew members on pit lane and no other race cars. I just can't imagine that being the norm like it was, in the 70s and 80s and guys rifling down pit roads. So it is a lot of fun to do it, to go from the banking to the flat, watch your grip level change, try to stay in the throttle, then try to get it stopped. Your eyes aren't accustomed to coming from that speed to a pit box. It just takes a little while getting used to that.
Well, good luck this afternoon and tomorrow.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Jimmy Johnson in the black and purple Ally Chevrolet, and as expected, looking forward to this qualifying session, as are we.
And you can tell him that Alex and I have voted Jimmy Johnson as best in Group 2, second best. Clint Boyer, I think he would have won it had he not blew the pit stop that he just made an attempt at. Very quick down pit road, but just missing the pit box. That's going to wrap it up for Group 2. I like what we saw. Can't wait to do it again. Pole qualifying is going to be something special here tonight.
Can't wait for that to happen, and you can hear it live on the Motor Racing Network. 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, we'll have pole qualifying for the All-Star race. And then the NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series will run the North Carolina Education Lottery 200 tonight. The Motor Racing Network's live flag-to-flag coverage of that event, 8 o'clock Eastern Time tonight.
All right, that's going to wrap it up for us for a little while. We're going to take about a 3-hour break, and like Alex said, we'll be back with you at 6 o'clock tonight for live pole qualifying for the All-Star event coming your way at 6 o'clock Eastern. Now for Hannah Newhouse, Winston Kelly, and Alex Hayden. My name is Jeff Striegel. Stay